Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today for this Atlas recap. Today we're revisiting our most recent Atlas event, the Distinguished Speaker Series with Dr. Gary Flake, who's currently the CTO of Data Science and Search for Salesforce. Gary discussed the future of artificial intelligence and how it will impact the future of human intelligence. We've captured the highlights here in this video, along with some commentary from our machine learning team. I hope you enjoy it.
Other things. You will have unlimited memory. We currently deal with 7 plus or minus 1 as the general rule. Imagine if you can make a mental note now and it sticks forever, and you can retrieve it by keyword in your brain. Oh my God. But now suddenly you're never stumbling for facts. All this stuff is available.
We're lucky to have Claire and John join us from the Atlas Machine Intelligence Group today. John is a former NASA scientist, author of 4 books, and the inventor of persuasion architecture, with decades of experience marrying complex ideas to innovative startups. Claire received her master's in computational linguistics from the University of Washington and used her background in NLP and data science to create a meaningful but effortless experience for our users. Claire, John, what are your thoughts on Gary's claim that people will have unlimited memories in the future?
Do you want to respond first, or should I?
Well, ladies first.
Okay, well, I think it's a really interesting claim that's already substantiated in what we see today. Various memory aids, people use their phones all the time. How many people memorize phone numbers? Do you have that in your phone? And I was so excited when I heard him speak and he was talking about this, because that's what Atlas Recall is all about. It's about augmenting your memory, helping you find things, and kind of easing your own burden of having to remember all these little, where was this stored exactly? How do I find it again? It's all in one place with the keyword. And I love the idea of kind of building that into us in some way, having that more easily accessible, but I have no idea what that would look like. What's the interface for that?
The thing that struck me was when he brought up this age-old sort of analogy of 7 plus 1 things that you can remember.
Yeah.
And then immediately went to infinite storage.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, heck, if you get me to 8 plus 1 or 9 plus 1, I'm anywhere from 20 to 30% more efficient than the guy next to me.
Yeah.
Right? So the incremental steps themselves change things in a fundamental way. And then the whole idea of infinite sort of storage of this information, what happens when the internet goes out for 20 minutes? I have now no training whatsoever on how to memorize things. Do we lose all those skills?
Yeah.
Do I care about the skills? It's like typewriting. Do I care to have a typewriting skill? No, you don't need it today.
Yeah.
Or does it become where we're so subject to not machines taking us over, but we're so dependent that we almost can't operate without somebody aiding or acting as a substitute for our memories?
Yeah.
So I think,
could be dangerous.
Up to 20, 30, 40
Yeah.
plus 1, and after that I start to get a little bit worried too at the same time.
Yeah, need to remember things ourselves too a bit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What gets really exciting, though, is when you think about the idea of having domain-specific AIs as a co-pilot. So one of my favorite scenarios to think about is the only EMT training I have is I took some CPR courses when we were pregnant with our first kid, and so I know how to perform infant CPR to the fidelity of what I can remember from 11 years ago. However, you can imagine a system that knows how to, in some sense, be an EMT coach in a crisis situation. So imagine you are suddenly you find yourself in an emergency situation and you have to do something to help save someone's life. And you have a voice in your head and maybe even some visual, like a pointer, saying, you need to stop the flow of blood there. Apply pressure on that pressure point. And it appears that this person is going into shock. You need to get a blanket around them to stop their temperature, their core temperature from dropping. Imagine that you had a domain expert like an EMT specialist that literally could just kind of whisper and give you little hints about what you ought to be doing in that scenario. That's kind of a great idea, because now if someone is in a really bad situation, in a crisis, everyone now has the potential to be an EMT. But you can do it, and that's a rare event. I've never been called upon to do that. But I'm not a very good cook, and I would love to have Julia Childs whispering in my ear saying, you know, you need to fluff that a little bit more, and you need to turn that, and the temperature isn't hot enough there. So what this offers up is this ability that we would have AI co-pilots situated within our own brains. And what does that do for us?
So Gary argues that the future of human intelligence won't be a general AI. He doesn't think that Terminator's what's next. What's your take on the idea that humans will act as the pilots in the future, and that AI will augment our human intelligence?
I'm going to go first.
Yeah, go.
I think he's hitting on a really key point. The first section, we were kind of talking about what if we had infinite memory storage.
Yeah.
But now he's getting more to the important point, which is that we don't need more data. What we need is more insight and knowledge. And this gets directly to the role that AI can play. In the first case, you know, I know what I'm looking for. It's fairly direct search. I should be able to find it, and if I have infinite storage, I can find it. But in the second case, I'm looking to add new skills on the fly, or I don't know what skills I need. I'm looking for knowledge at that point, and that's the idea of this assistant that helps you out. And we're definitely doing stuff like that with Recall and with here at Atlas just generally. Insofar as we're looking at what actions you took in the past, what were you doing, as opposed to what specifically from a noun standpoint. We're looking for the action verbs, because that's how humans remember stuff. They remember stuff as stories. And so that's how we're rehydrating the thread of thought.
Yeah.
So I think that's a direct analogy to what Gary's talking about.
Yeah, I agree. And also some of what we're working on with building context around what you do is anticipating what you might need. The situation he talks about, you know, you need like an EMT whispering in your ear telling you what to do. You're not gonna have time to like, let me do a quick search, let me look it up. Like, you want it to know right away before you even know that that's what you need. You want it to know. And one of the cool things I think he didn't really touch on, but it's one of the capabilities that we're building towards, is having that be personalized too. Not only does it know you're in this situation, you need help knowing how to resuscitate this person, but also maybe how you personally may react to that situation, what you personally may need as compared to someone else. So having that be adapted to you, and also could be helpful in much more mundane situations where it's like, kind of imagine like it's like a life coach, right? It's not just something that gives you that knowledge that's out there available, but it's personalized to you. I think that's what makes it really powerful too. And that's also something that we're working on here, is how do we personalize what we do? How do we use what we know about you, what your actions are, that sort of stuff, to provide a suggestion that's not just a general suggestion, but a suggestion for you. So that's really cool.
Yeah,
cool.
He brought up that analogy. I'm going to continue this a bit because I just thought of something. He brought up that analogy of, well, if I had Julia Child whispering my ear how to cook. But you know, since we're both into food, you know that.
Yes.
There's the people who are great cooks because they can make new recipes on the fly when something is missing. And there are people that are great bakers because they can precisely follow, which is what you need for baking. And how do you turn somebody who's a natural baker into a decent cook? How do you take somebody who's a natural cook into a decent baker with the precision?
Totally different.
Some person, you're like, this is the gestalt of what you have to do to save this person's life with the EMT. And the other person needs, no, the next thing is, you know, press down
like
the whole
exactly this,
And then, you know, it just naturally mimics what you just said about people's interactions.
Yeah, and we do this so naturally when we are interacting each other. Like when you're interacting with someone, you always adjust how you talk and what you're talking about, the exact how many details you go into to that person. Why would our AI co-pilots not also be able to do that for us?
That's right.
Yeah.